Hello and welcome to this coffee break demo. My name is Peter Donaldson, and over the next 15 to 20 minutes I'm going to talk about some of the reasons that so many companies choose Sage 200 to manage their finances. I've worked with this product for nearly 10 years in either support, training or content creation, so I am slightly biased. However, hopefully by the end of the video you'll see why I like it so much. So what is Sage 200? I could say it's a customizable solution to enable small to medium-sized businesses to manage and simplify their financials, supply chain and inventory, which it is. But that sentence doesn't really tell the whole story. With that in mind, I think I'll change the question. Why Sage 200? Usually, companies will choose Sage 200 to address a need which is not being fulfilled with their current software. These reasons can vary. It could be the amount of time it takes to process certain tasks, workarounds becoming cumbersome, or even their current database is creaking due to the amount of data that they hold. As companies grow, they will inevitably outgrow a smaller or less featureful accounts package, and that's where Sage 200 comes in. With the scope to grow with your business, speed up all of your processing, and maintain a real-time view of your financial performance, well, that's the why. Let's go back to the original question now. What is Sage 200? With the different deployment options and customization available, 200 can really be whatever you need it to be. There are two variants, which are Sage 200 Standard and Sage 200 Professional. Sage 200 Standard is a multi-tenant cloud solution whereby we host and manage the infrastructure for you. This is a lighter version of Sage 200 Professional, but still retains a lot of the big hitting features like closed period accountancy or 3-tiered nominal structures, for example. You'll never need to worry about upgrading the software to get the latest features, as these updates are applied seamlessly by our development team. All you really need to do is install the app on your PC and get to work. Sage 200 Professional is our original solution, and this can be deployed in a number of ways. It could be on-premise, it could be in Azure, it can be privately hosted, and it can also be hosted via Sage Partner Cloud, which we'll come to shortly. In short, whatever works best for your needs. This version is fully customizable with a wealth of add-ons available in our marketplace, and despite being an on-premise solution, you can still have some cloud-based access. As I've just mentioned, Sage Partner Cloud is one of the deployment options that are available to you. This solution is hosted and managed by the business partner. It comes with Azure Cloud Reliability, Security and Availability, and is fully customizable with access to some of the add-ons in our marketplace. I've mentioned the marketplace a couple of times now, so I shouldn't really go much further without mentioning our fantastic tech partners and our tech partner team. The tech partner team here at Sage cover our whole ecosystem, so that's SBCA, Sage 50, Sage 200, Intacct and X3. They look after it all. Tech partners can apply to join us or be actively recruited by our team based on business partner or ecosystem recommendations. Our team verify all of our tech partner products vigorously in terms of performance, data testing and security, and once they're happy, the product is then added to the marketplace. The marketplace currently has 52 apps, which cover all verticals, with some specific to 200. We have 6 priceless products in the marketplace, which are Codis, Cycon, Cumulus, Dracer, Sim Software 50 and Sim 200 Manufacturing. We have a list of hybrid partners who have products in the marketplace but can also advise you on any solutions you require as part of your integration. We have a very strong manufacturing offering with Cycon and Sim Software who provide manufacturing suites or specialized modules. There are 13 data integration specialists, 8 accounts payable and accounts receivable automation specialists, 6 warehouse management specialists and more, so this gives us an idea of just how flexible Sage 200 can be. Over the course of the demo, we're going to look at a snapshot of the features as we just don't have time to fit everything in. But you can see a key feature set on screen, with the ones highlighted in green being the ones that we're going to be looking at. We'll start with a quick look at System Administrator. Think of this as your control panel for Sage 200. Here we can add or remove users, assign user access, or add third-party modules or add-ons. If we take a look at the administrator user, we can see that they're a member of the admin role with access to all companies. If we move to the roles section, we can see that the admin role has access to everything, as you might imagine, whereas the sales role only has selected access. These roles are user-defined, so you're always in control of who has access to what in the system. Sage 200 Standard is slightly different in terms of control, in that there is no system administrator. Rather, access is controlled using a combination of the Sage provisioning portal and the user access and company management features within the app. If we look at the General tab of the administrator user, we can see that they've been enabled as a web user. This brings me to the first feature that I want to show you. If you, as a user, have been set up this way, then you can access over 60 Sage 200 screens from any device with a browser. These screens mimic the functionality of the Sage 200 app and update the system immediately. Need to create a quote for your customer when you're on site using a tablet? Easy. Need to authorize a purchase invoice when you're on holiday on your phone? No problem. Web forms are available on all variants of Sage 200 and give you that cloud accounting capability even when using an on-premise solution. We'll move on to the Sage 200 client app now and look at some of the reasons why so many companies use Sage 200 to manage their finances. We could spend days, and I have done, talking about all of the features in Sage 200, so we'll focus on the main reasons people choose to come across. Straight away, you can see our homepage. Here we have links to the Help Centre, our knowledge base, and other resources such as our roadmap, which will show you what we have planned in future updates, or the Sage Marketplace, where you can find information on a whole host of third-party add-ons. If we look to the left of the screen, we can see our menu. This is broken down into the various modules and features that are available to us based on the license that we've purchased. All very logical. As an example, if I want to see my customers, I'll go to the sales ledger and select the customer list. Once I'm on that screen, we can see a range of ledger-specific options along the top that can be changed by right-clicking and selecting the ones relevant to you. We're looking at our customer list screen, but on any list screen, you can right-click the column headers to add or remove columns as you desire. Maybe we want to add the currency that this customer deals in, or maybe the average amount of days that it takes him to pay. There is a wealth of information that can be displayed on one screen in an easy-to-read format that can save you a lot of time looking for it. Speaking of looking for it, we also have the search bar, which is very handy if you can't remember where certain features sit on the menu. There is also the ability to favourite items to create your own menu if needed. We're going to start our tour in Accounting System Manager and look at accounting periods. These allow you to use closed period accounting. We can see all of the periods for our various ledgers in our current financial year and their status, which would either be open, closed, or future. Simply put, if the period is open, then you can post a transaction that will affect a particular ledger and any financial reports. If you've completed your month end and don't want any further changes to your figures, then you can close the period. Any transaction posted then with a date within the closed period will then affect any reports in the next open period. For the purpose of VAT reporting, the system will use the transaction date so your VAT return will still be affected correctly. Any transactions posted into a future period will sit in an area of the program called Deferred Transactions until the period in question has been opened. This allows you full control over the information that will be used in any of the management reports, such as a profit and loss or a balance sheet, so you can get a much more accurate picture of your finances. Staying in Accounting System Manager for a second, we can look at the currency and exchange rate screen. In Sage 200, you have the ability to create customers, suppliers, and bank accounts in any currency, which can then be reported back into your base currency for your financial reports. Need to pay your US supplier in dollars from your sterling bank account? This can be recorded very easily with the option to also include any bank charges. Exchange rates can be set for a specific period, or you can change them on the fly when entering transactions. All currencies can also be revalued periodically to ensure that your base currency reporting is accurate. We'll take a look at our nominal ledger now and talk about the nominal structure. Sage 200 allows for a 3-tiered nominal structure which gives you 3 analysis points on each nominal account. If we look at the example that I have on screen, we can see that we have the same nominal code of 71100 used to record our rent in 3 different nominal accounts. If we look at each nominal account separately, they report into the administration department of the relevant cost centre, so we can see quickly how much we spend on rent in our offices. If we open up one of those accounts, we can see the structure and the report category it belongs to. Report categories control what you see on your management reports. We've grouped our rent into one report category, so we can choose to run an overall profit and loss to see the total cost, or we can break it down by running a profit and loss by cost centre, which will give us the total for each location. 3-tiered reporting is great, but what if you need more? Well, you can create additional analysis at either a ledger level or transaction level to gain additional insight. At a ledger level, an example of this would be to create additional analysis codes for account managers using the Maintain Analysis Codes feature. We could then add an account manager to each customer record and quickly report back on which customers are looked after by a specific manager. At a transaction level, it's possible to add transactional analysis. During my time in support, we saw this a lot in the education sector. Schools would create nominal transaction analysis codes to record all revenue and costs for particular school trips, allowing them to quickly report on these for their auditors. Staying in the nominal ledger, we can also see the fixed assets register. Here we can monitor and deal with the depreciation of any of our assets at the click of a button. If we open up one of our assets to take a closer look, we can see the value that it was purchased for, the current value after its latest depreciation, and the nominal accounts that will be used to record the depreciation posting. I'm going to move to the stock control ledger now and show you something that's a trigger for a lot of customers to need Sage 200. It's in stock control settings and it's that tick box. Enabling multiple locations immediately allows you to create as many stock locations or warehouses as you need to record your stock levels. Each warehouse contains at least one bin, but you commonly see these renamed as aisles or shelves, and they basically act as a location within a location. You can add as many bins as you like to each warehouse. If I look at my raw oats stock item, I can quickly see that in my Newcastle warehouse I have 80 packs on shelf 1, which is obviously very handy to know. Even more so when you're dealing with batch or serial traceable goods, which is the next reason that customers tend to choose Sage 200. The software gives you the capability to assign batch or serial numbers to your stock items, allowing you to track the items throughout its time with you. This type of functionality is especially important to pharmaceutical companies in case of issues with any of their products, but I've seen it used for all manner of goods. For example, wallpaper is batched together to ensure matching patterns. In this scenario, you can take things a step further by ticking a sale may only be from a single batch, which forces any sale of this item to come from one batch. So in the case of the wallpaper, it will make sure that you get the same pattern shipped together. We have the option to use sell by, use by dates, and specify a shelf life for an item. This is to help manage your stock of perishable items and also help Sage 200 know which items need to be sold first. To do this, we look at another feature in the stock control ledger, sales order fulfillment methods. If we look at the oat stock item, we can see the fulfillment sequence is currently set to bin priority, which basically means that the system will look to take stock from the bin with the highest priority set against it in the location that we store the goods. For this item though, I think we should change it to sell by date. Now when I raise a sales order for oats, it will take stock from the batch of goods with the oldest sell by date first. We also have the change method button here, which is yet another reason to use Sage 200. If I click it, you can see 3 options: stock, supplier, or direct. This will set the default fulfillment for this stock item. If I choose stock, it will use the stock in our warehouses to fulfill any sales orders. If I choose supplier, then it enables us to raise something called a back-to-back sales order. This way, we can raise a purchase order to fulfill our sales order at the same time that we create the actual sales order. When we receive the stock into our warehouse, it's then ring-fenced for the original sales order, so it can't accidentally be allocated to another order before we deliver it to our customer. Direct works in a similar way to supplier, but as it sounds, it records the delivery of goods directly to your customer from your supplier, rather than into your warehouse first. Moving on from the stock control ledger, I want to show you the purchasing control available in Sage 200, starting with a purchase requisition. In case you haven't heard the term, it's basically an internal request to order something from your suppliers. In Sage 200, the user will raise a purchase requisition for the desired items. This then requires authorization before it can become a purchase order in the system. Once it is an order, depending on the rules that you have in place, it may require further authorization based on the value of the order. Once the order has been delivered and the invoice is due, it's possible to add another authorization point at the invoice level, again based on invoice value. So in total, it's possible to put 3 layers of authorization in place in the purchase order process, giving you that extra control over your expenditure. The last thing I want to show you is the Excel reporting area of the program. You can use Excel reporting to extract information from Sage 200 into pre-configured Excel workbooks. You can then use Excel to view your data in different ways, so it can be pivoted, it can be filtered and sorted to suit your needs. These reports can then be shared with relevant people, even if they don't use Sage 200. The budget versus actual report is a good example of this. I'll open this one up and we can take a closer look. There isn't much data in my system, but there should be enough to give you an idea of how it works. If we look along the tabs at the bottom, we can see that we can run this report by cost center, department, report category, or nominal account. Looking along the top, we can see the filters that are available to apply. So if I wanted to see the actual versus budget figures for my administration cost center, I can just click it. How about the figures for just the first period? Or how about narrowing the report to just show a specific nominal account? You can see how easy it is to use. Within seconds, I have the actual committed and budgeted figures based on my specifications. And that brings us to the end of this brief demonstration. I really do hope you found it interesting. If you have any questions, please pop them into the chat and a member of the team will get back to you soon. Alternatively, feel free to take the Sage 200 product tour or reach out to your local Sage 200 business partner.